Well, listen, I'm just going to get right into what I have started talking about. And tonight, that is dealing with values, the importance of having values, the importance of knowing what it is that you believe and what you stand for, and what it is that you want or you don't want. Because when we don't define our values, oftentimes when it comes time to make decisions, when it comes time to doing things and moving things and all of the stuff that it is that we get into, um, we need to know what we stand for or what we don't stand for. We need to know what it is that we believe or what we don't believe, because if we can't establish what it is that we believe, we'll just go along to get along. When we do not have our value defined, sometimes we can put ourselves in position where we have low values, or we'll put ourselves in a position where we have no values. And as a result, people will treat us accordingly because we do not know who we are. It's time for somebody to stand up for themselves. It's time for somebody to make the decision to be the very best version of themselves, and really be unapologetic about holding on to who it is that you want to be, how it is that you are to flow and to function. We need to be able to do this without conviction. You know, when our core values have been established, then it's not hard to make a decision. It's not hard to know what you will and what you won't do. Case in point, um, if you decided that you don't want to be a thief, then you just won't steal. But when you don't make a decision like that, like I don't want to rob anybody, I don't want to steal, I don't want to kill, then somebody will come into your life and say, hey, let's rob a bank. And based upon the value that you've established, whether it's low value or high value, it's going to determine the level of action you're going to put into it. Case in point, if you are a low value person or a no value person, when somebody walks up to you and say, hey, man, I want to rob a bank. I want you to come and be with me. Immediately, if you have low value or no value, you say, hey, I'm about it. Let's go. I don't fear going to jail. I don't fear being taken away from my family. I don't fear loss of life. I'm just about it. And so that will determine the role that you're going to play in the stick up. You might decide to go into the bank. You might decide, okay, if you're low value, I'm not going in the bank because I'm not going to rob, but I'm going to stand at the door. Or you might say, well, I don't want to be seen, but I'll drive the getaway car. Or if you are a person of value, then you make a decision, hey, I'm not going to be involved at all, because you know exactly the part you want to play. And even though that's one example, it affects every area of our lives. It affects how we grow, who we become, what we do, who we get involved with, because we have well-defined boundaries of what we will and what we won't do. You know, I heard this story once of this homeless guy who was on the street, and there were two sets of people that looked at him. Set one grew up in a home where he was told that if he worked hard, he can have whatever he wanted. If he gave his best, he could have whatever he wanted. And his mindset was, if I just work hard, I'll be all right. That's good. And so when he looks at this homeless man, immediately what he begins to say is that person is in that position because he refuses to participate in hard work. But if he would just stop being lazy, get off the corner and do something, then and only then can he be in a better position. But then there's another group of people who may have grew up in a home who believes in compassion and loyalty, and may just believe that sometimes people fall down on their luck, and some people just need a rebound. They need a hand up. And so when he looks at the homeless person, he begins to process this and say, hey, I'm going to help, because I know what it is to have lost it all. I know what it is to sleep on an air mattress. I know what it is to begin from the ground up. So I'm going to extend a hand up because I'm a person of compassion, where the first person was just like, hey, I'm not going to do anything because I just think this man is in the position that he is in simply because he wouldn't work. Both of them have opinions, and the way that they will flow with this man is going to be based upon their values. One group is compassionate, and the other group believes that it involves hard work. So what kind of things happen when our values aren't defined? Well, one of the things that happen when I don't define my values is that other people will make decisions for us. You know, if you don't know your worth, most times people are going to assign value to you. And if they do it, most times they put you on the clearance rack. They'll use you, they'll abuse you, they'll call on you for everything. And here it is, you're just there giving all that you can give simply because you don't know your worth. And so when we don't know our value, one of the things that people are going to do is they're going to assign worth to us. They're going to tell us what we should or should not be doing, or what we are worth. The second thing that can happen if we don't define our values is that we develop low self-esteem. We develop low self-esteem. We just, walking around believing that we are not worth anything, that we deserve the kind of treatment that we deserve. You know, one of the things that breaks my heart is to see a queen live below the standard because they don't know their worth. So they'll let a joker come into their life and treat them any kind of way, and they'll go along. And that person will just do all kind of craziness. And to watch this queen just put up with stuff simply because she fails to realize her worth and who she is. It's just crazy. Now, personally, I believe that a man who chooses to beat on a woman is a man with low self-esteem. He really don't know who he is. I know he might think he's being bossy, and I know he thinks he's strong, but really, I think that a man who mistreats a woman is a man who really don't know himself. And so he got to be loud, and he has to be domineering, and he has to be strong in order to think that he needs to be heard. But you know, when you understand your value, you stop asking yourself questions like, why is this happening to me? And you start asking yourself, why do I keep letting this happen? Why do I allow this to happen? Because your worth is going to make you check your environment, and it's going to make you check stuff and people around you. The third thing that can happen if you don't know your value is that people don't respect you. They don't respect you. They don't respect you in business. They don't respect you in family. They don't respect you in relationships. They don't respect your mind. They don't respect your decisions. And when I told you that they'll put you on the clearance rack, I'm telling you that they will not give you the respect you deserve, because you lack self-esteem, you lack self-worth, you lack self-respect. Listen, I like that. I like that. There is a difference, Regina. There's a difference between being a doormat and just standing up for yourself. Most people that haven't established their value, they find themselves stressed out, full of anxiety, and they worry about whether or not they're making the right decision concerning their circumstances. Most times they'll treat their body any kind of way. They'll live unhealthy and everything that really abuses themselves. They'll allow it to happen simply because they have not learned how to value themselves. You've got to love yourself. You have to find your value. You have to find your self-worth, because again, you're going to be treated any kind of way whenever you don't. They're just going to treat you any kind of way, and you'll find yourself stressed and in anxiety, just allowing anything to happen to you simply because you don't know that you've been fearfully and wonderfully made. That you're the apple of God's eye. That when the Creator created you, He didn't make junk. Now, I don't know if it's trauma or inherited behavior. I don't know if it's nurture or nature, but at some point, there should be a moment when you should say, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the stress. Taking sleeping pills to go to sleep at night because of your stress and anxiety. See, you can never be a confident person without buckling down and saying no more. This is who I am. And I'm not going to live my life from the outside in, but I'm going to live my life from the inside out. When you discover that, I'm telling you, once you discover that, your life will begin to change. When you start realizing that you don't have to take stuff, when you start realizing that you're amazing, you're just a thought away from changing your entire dynamic. Isn't that something? We just need the kings and queens to rise up and begin to recognize who they are. So how do I stand in my truth? How do I stand in my value? How do I get to the place where I'm willing and wanting to be the best version of me, no matter what goes on? Well, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that you have to get to a place where you honestly, no matter who's around you, that you speak your truth. You speak your truth. Have to get to the point that you have to get to the point where you speak your truth. Franchetta says that a core value system must be established that helps one reinforce their self-worth. That's the only way. And let me tell you, it's all about making a decision. It's about making a decision. When you can get to the point where you can say no more, I'm not going to take this. I know that I'm more than this. Then you'll stop taking pennies when you're worth so much more. You'll stop taking those kind of treatments. So in order to remain true to yourself, it's very, very, very vital that you speak impeccably concerning you, your beliefs, what it is that you desire to see in life. If you decided that you're going to be an honest person, then you have to make a decision that I will be honest. And I'll go another step further. It just can't be a decision in the mind, but that thing got to come out of your mouth, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. Life don't have power. Death don't have power. Whatever we do when we are most like our Creator, to speak, to decree and to declare that I will not be this way for the rest of my life, that this is no more, that I am fearfully, wonderfully made, that I am more than what I've been treated. See, when you start allowing that to come out of your mouth, I'm telling you, your entire world begins to shift and to change. Do you know that you're one decision from the best days of your life, I just need you to let that sink in. You're one decision saying, I'm not going to stay in an abusive relationship when this relationship means me no good. Why would I do that? You know, words have creative power. And so you've got to begin to confess the word of God, confess in coming into an agreement with the word, those things sometimes that be not as though they were. Sometimes you have to be able to know who your creator is and what your capacity is to flow and function and the way that he created you. Don't have to settle for less than. Hear me, Queen. You don't have to settle for less than. For that person that think that you're going to be broke the rest of your life, that is not true. You're just one decision from the best days of the rest of your life. And the moment that you can say, I am turning this around, I am making a difference, that's when things begin to shift. So speak honestly and speak impeccably. You know, whenever you have your value established and there's a temptation to speak against what you know in your heart, what you believe. And let me say this for the record. Everybody else don't have to believe it. Everybody else don't have to believe it. They don't. It's like pearls among swine. You trying to go to everybody else to get your value established. And in doing so, you're going to people that don't understand the value of your life or your vision. And like I said earlier, they put you on the clearance rack because they don't know how to handle you. So stop going to everybody. What would you do? What do you think? How do you feel? What should I do? No, there comes a time where you have to allow what you sense, what you know, what you feel, that unction that God has put in you, and you got to go with it. And sometimes that's walking against the crowd, because what you have in you is a pearl, and swine will never understand it. It'll be trampled under feet. They'll treat it as if it's nothing. So you're one decision. I keep saying that because I just think that somebody needs to understand that if they could just understand that they're one decision, that they weren't going to take low value or no value options anymore, that their life can truly shift for the better. I don't need you to understand it. I need you to understand it. And not only do I need you to understand it, I need you to overstand it. You don't have to settle for less. But if you're going to get there, be impeccable to you. Stand on it. I don't care who's in the room. I don't care who disagrees with you. Stand on it. You know, there's an old adage that says birds of a feather flock together. Misery loves company. If you lay down with dogs, you'll get up with fleas. Now, how are you going to be around people who do not have the audacity to dream? They don't have the audacity to believe. How are you going to be around these kinds of people and then go to them, say, what do you think this is? A pearl? Oh, it's not worthless because you said it's not worthless? No. You have to be able to imagine, to dream, to be creative beyond. And once you understand what that is, to thine own self be true. You might lose some people. You might be criticized, but oh well. To thy own self be true. To thine own self be true. You've got to be impeccable to you. You don't owe anybody else an explanation but God. And if God says you can, why do you listen to them when they say you can't? No. Be impeccable. And whatever he says you can have, believe it. Whatever you know you can do it. Whatever you know you can be, I'm flowing it. Let me move. So be impeccable. I don't care who's in the room. I don't care if it's the president of the corporation. I don't care if it's the president of the nation. You've got to be true to you. Never let anybody talk you out of your worth or your value. No. Man, listen. You get out there, you start dating, and you say, hey, listen, I am going to be celibate. I'm going to be celibate. That's the way I'm going to live because I tried it the other way and it didn't work for me. I end up broken and bruised. And so I'm going to stand on it. If you start dating and somebody is trying to talk you, manipulate you, trying to come up with every reason why you should abandon that value, then they really don't love you. Because the people that mind don't matter and the people that matter don't mind. So stay true to you. Stay true to you. Be impeccable to you. Speak honestly with all people from your place of value. Don't be wishy-washy. The Bible says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. In other words, a double-minded man is schizophrenic. He's going with the wind to and fro. So you don't have time to be double-minded. You can't be listening to the crowds, but you have to get up and say, hey, I'm going to be me. The next thing I want to tell you that if you're going to remain true to you, if you're going to hold on to your value and you're going to let your little light shine, shine little light. The next thing I'm going to tell you is don't put someone else down to make yourself look better. Don't put anybody else down. Listen, anything that God wants to do in your life, he don't need the devil's toolbox. He'll never go to the devil's toolbox and use lies and tricks and thievery in order to get the job done. You don't need that. That's why you always speak honestly. But when you are well defined in your thoughts and where you come, you don't need to put anybody else down. There's an old saying I've heard before that says you shouldn't have to blow out somebody else's candle to make your candle look brighter. I don't even care if it's for jokes, because sometimes we get in situations and we'll begin to joke around about somebody not being where we think that they should be. And we'll start talking down on them, thinking that we're being joking. But if you're going to be true to yourself, don't compromise, because you'll never be the best version of yourself if you compromise. And so don't try to blow somebody else's candle out to make yours look brighter. Be true to you. You can't put other people down. You never really feel better when you feel you have to use underhanded tactics to make your candle shine brighter. You'll never be the best. You'll never be better when you're acting like you're bitter, when you act like you're intimidated. This isn't even about comparing either. Listen. Sometimes we see people and based upon chemistry, we like what we see. They're physically attractive, tall, dark, and handsome, sharp, bald, and hunchback. I don't know, however you like them. But when chemistry happens, sometimes we'll like them. But when we get to know them, we'll start realizing that their values go against our values. And a contest begins. But we need to be comfortable with walking away from people and be unapologetic about it. But that doesn't mean that we're better than them or they're better than us. This isn't a competition. Why can't people say we tried it, it didn't work? You're still a good person. I'm still a good person. It's just that what you want from life, I don't want from life. I mean, come on. Franchetta, how in the world would I get with somebody who, doesn't want to take care of their body, eats everything that passes in front of them, addicted to sugar, and then I'm trying to be the healthiest version of me. See, listen here, and this is a later point, but I want us to consider this. In every connection, every relationship that we are in every connection, you're either influencing or you're being influenced. Now, you're either allowing that ship, that relationship, that partnership, whatever kind of ship it is, the relationship, you're allowing it to influence you, or you're influencing it. And if I get into a connection, you know, it's been said that corrupt communication ruins good behavior. Well, if I get with somebody that never wants to work out, that doesn't believe that health is important to them, and then I'm trying to go to the gym and they always complaining and fussing. Why you going to the gym today? Why you going to the trail today? Why you eating light today? Why I wanted something heavy. Bring me all the hog. Just slice it and cut it. I want every bit of it. Make sure it's fresh. You know, you'll get into a competition with that person. And the truth is you just unequally yoked. Why not just separate and say, hey, look, I'm not calling you a bad person. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, but we need to move around because this not working. This not working because I'm not willing to give up my lifestyle. Not this is too important for me to be that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I just have to establish my value and know I'm not going to move from this. So just know that. Now, listen, in this point about not putting somebody else down to make your candle look brighter, I wrote this down and I want to make sure that I talk about this aspect of it. Whenever you cannot put anybody else down and just let your values be your value, then the people around you will start respecting you. The people around you are going to know that you're the real deal. You're quality. You're cut with dignity. You're cut with integrity. That, when something is integrous, when it has integrity, no matter how much pressure you put on it, it's not going to fold. It's not going to bend because it is what it is. He is who he is to a score. And let me say that's one way or the other. Because I've met thugs that had more integrity than folk in the church. Ooh. I've met thugs that had more integrity than those that are in business. Why? Because they said if you step on my shoes, it's going to be war. If you step on their shoes, it's going to be war. To all my people at Towers. Towers Titans. Yeah, that's where I grew up. Sometimes it was a war zone. But you have to believe that if he says he's going to fight you, he's going to fight you. But here it is. When we say we're going to go back to school, people laugh at us. When we say we're going to start that business, people laugh at us. When we say we're going to lose weight because we want to be healthy, being healthy is the value that drives us, but they laugh at us. Why? See, we become people of integrity when we are able to carry out the very belief that we expect to see done in our lives. So, to thine own self be true. And when you don't use underhanded tactics to make somebody else look bad so that you can look better, people know that you're the real deal. And they'll want to select you to be around them every time. The next thing I'm going to tell you is hang with people that water your core values. Hang with people. Listen, I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room because I always want to learn. Put me in a room with people that can show me a better way, that can teach me a better way. Put me in a room with people that can instruct me and influence me to become better. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Show me. And so I want to be around people. If I'm going to allow my core values to develop and get to a place where they can be authentic and real and true, then I need to be surrounded by people that water my core values. I mean, this is simple to think about. How I'm going to be a married man that says that I don't want to cheat, but I'm gonna hang around cheaters. That's crazy. I mean, that's foolish. How am I going to say I want to get my credit together, but all of my friends love going spend every paycheck, every dime of their paycheck on Amazon or the mall, don't have any saving, any portfolio planning. No, I need to be around people that will hold me accountable. That when my cheese is falling off my cracker, they're going to say, hold up, wait a minute, pull back a little bit. I need people that I can respect, that are going to want to see me be better, that are doing everything they can to make sure that my presence in their lives makes me better. I met with my team today, and man, we're assembling a great media team. Prophecy coming to pass. They'll know what that means. But I met with our team today, all of our contributors that are going to be contributing in the various areas, and I can't wait to this thing called Be Little Speaks, Expands, and Vineyard Media Group, which is the publisher. Just some good things coming. Good things. But we met with our team today, and one of the things that I told them is, listen, if you're hanging around me, you have no choice but to be better. You have no choice to become better. I'm going to live so intentionally blessed around you that you're going to covet in a good way the blessings that are on my life. That doesn't mean you're going to write a book like me. That doesn't mean that all of our gifts are going to look like. I'm not trying to create uniformity. We all can be unique in our own way, but we will not settle for mediocrity. We will not be mediocre, if I can say it that way. We will not be mediocre. And man, the Eagles that I connect with every week, I check on them, Elma and Sia. These are people that are doing amazing things. Sia buying land in Africa and just educating and empowering her people. She's from Africa. And then Elma, who is coming into her own, the best version of her. We check on each other. Franchetta, who we have been learning how to check each other, learning temperaments, and just making sure that we are becoming better versions of ourselves. So I told our team today, say, hey, you should expect blessings. You should expect, because when you hang around me, I'm going to water you. I may not know how to write a book, but for Franchetta does, and she'll water you. I may not know how to invest in the stock market, but Scott, he does this. I've got somebody who sells homes. They can give you. We're going to live so blessed around you that you're going to see blessings as normal. You're not going to see living without and hand to hand and doing less than as normal. That'll become a dysfunction. We will become better versions of ourselves. So we've got to hang around people that will water those core values. And if we do that, I'm telling you, our lives will begin to shift and to change and to become everything that we know they should be. So value yourself, value your gifts. Listen, you may say to yourself, I may not be smart enough, or I may not know enough. I need more education. Don't let that stop you from being. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. Listen, there's a quote that I love. We're good before we're great. We're great before we're excellent, and we're excellent before we're amazing. It's a process. You just got to understand where you're going. It's the roadmap. It's the thing that's going to cause you to attract good in your life and do whatever you need to do to get rid of bad. It is the game changer. And once you understand that you're amazing, that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, you won't put up with low value thoughts or less than thoughts, but you'll be the best version of yourself. And that's my little belittle rant. I just want you to establish whatever it is. Maybe I'll come back with a part 2 to tell you how to discover your value. I might do that next week. We'll see how this goes, but I just wanted somebody to stop accepting less than in their lives. Listen, y'all, thank y'all for hanging with me. I said y'all, I'm from Louisiana. Thank you for hanging with me tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you who has chosen to contribute. Remember, if you haven't done so, go to belittlespeaks.com. Find one of the platforms, like us, subscribe, because this helps us to get sponsorship money to change lives, And so I appreciate that. I might just do that. Thank you. Part 2, because there is a part 2. I just didn't want to be too deep tonight. But it's very important that we learn how to discover our values, the things that lead the way in our lives. When you look at Proverbs 31, verse 10, reading down about that virtuous woman, that's a woman who's discovered her value. She's made a determination that she was going to be virtuous to her husband, to her family, her children who rise up and call her blessed, to her community. Those are decisions. And those decisions, how much energy and time we give to those decisions comes from having well-defined values. And so I might do that next week so that we can discover how to zone in and discover those values. Thank y'all for hanging with me. I appreciate you guys. Listen, I love you to life. I love you to truth. Wherever you go, make sure the best version of you shows up, because you've been fearfully and wonderfully made. You haven't seen your best days yet. And anybody in your life, any ex, any old teacher, whoever they may be, who thinks they have, don't believe me, just watch. Best days are coming. Love you, family. Till we meet again. Thank you for tuning in to Be Little Speaks. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, love you. Love you. I think I love you. I'm trying to close out. Oh, I guess it don't want me to go.